Okay, and that is the amplifier mounted. Not too shabby, if I say so myself. This is like one of the parts that I was like the most nervous about, but I'm glad I got that out of the way. So now we're just gonna connect everything, and then we're gonna start with the fun stuff. Guys, this is day 3 of the sound install. The sound has been installed, mind you, but I just wanted to give you guys like an overview, a rundown, a recap of what I've done so far, and then we're gonna get busy with doing the tuning of the sound system. Okay, so this is where we left off yesterday. Yeah, I just opened the car quickly. Oh, got to open up the bonnet real quick. Take out the battery. Never connected the battery last night. I just oh, you guys in the air there. It's actually really difficult with one hand. Okay, just gonna take the battery out real quick. Something I noticed yesterday is that my coolant level is a bit low, so I'm gonna just top that up as well later on in the video or something. The reason for that is because we were trying to use the heater now the other day. It was like really cold, so we tried to use the heater, and we had like just this strong smell of coolant come into the cabin, or into the car from the, well, not from the engine bay, from the heater, or the heater radiator, or whatever you want to call it, in the dash. So that's probably leaking, and it's gonna have to be replaced. So I'm just gonna have to top up the coolant and not use the heater in winter, imagine. Anyways, let's get rid of this battery quickly. Alrighty, set that to one side. Okay, so the plan of attack for today is I want to terminate all the terminate the cables in the engine bay quickly. That is wrapping up this cable in the wire loom, and then connecting this cable to the fuse that we're going to be using here up front, as well as now the cable that's going to go from the battery itself to the fuse. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing now real quick, and then we'll get to actually doing the wiring directly to the amp. Okay, so I have everything here. I got the wire loom. Looks a lot like the factory wire loom, plastic wire loom, wrapping or sleeving. Yeah, this is obviously now the battery, the cable that must go to the fuse. So I'm gonna have it sit something like this, something like that. The battery is going to be sitting on top of it over here to keep it in place. Hopefully that works. Tighten it down with that, of course. Wire is gonna go in like this. I might actually have to cut this short, or just pull more of it into the cabin itself, because I want it sitting like this on the side, yeah. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna measure where it needs to be cut. Might have to just cut a piece off actually, instead of adding more to the thing. So maybe cut it right there, right with my fingers, right about here. Sorry for the wind. So yesterday was super cold, today it's super windy. Not something I can control, but this needs to get done today. So anyways, cut it there, and then strip it to here, and then from where it's stripped, leave a bit of a gap. The wire loom is going to start here, and then I'm going to use this larger size heat shrinking just to make it look a bit better, the black, so I can hide this power cable completely. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be busy with real quick. I'll just terminate the cable quickly and get back to you guys. Okay, so off screen I did like a bunch of wiring. This is how far I got. This end is a bit too short, so I might have to extend that. By extend I mean I'm gonna have to redo this part here, just so that it doesn't pull as much. Like this length would be more than enough. I just need to get another 4 gauge lug to be able to tie onto the positive side of the engine loom, and then we're gonna walk around to the back. I might actually need to balance you guys quickly. It's like super light out. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, now looking in here, the amp has been mounted, and I got all the wires coming to the back. Again, sorry for the wind. Yesterday was Saturday, today is Sunday. I work in the week, so there's no time in the week. But yeah, let's see if I can't. There we go. Should be better. Okay, so this is where we at. This is coming from the passenger side. This is coming from the driver side. Oh, I actually need to switch these around. So green is the driver side and yellow is the passenger side. Then we have the power cable that's going to go into the amp itself. Gonna have to cut that as well. Got wire loom to neaten that up. And then yeah, we can start with the tuning process. I just want to show you guys what I did on the inside. So here's my I have to lighten you a bit over here. So I no light. So okay, back there is where the amp is for the. It's gonna work as a distribution block with the 80 amps in, the 80 amp fuse in. I'm gonna go around inside and show you what I did. I could not hide all the wires, so this is what I came up with. I basically just used trunking to just make it look a bit more discreet. So this side on the passenger side and the driver side is more or less similar. Sorry for that. So there you can see here on the passenger side it's similar, and when you put the seat down you can't see it as much. But yeah, now I just have to run the wires properly to the amp, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I cut my power cable to length from the fuse to the amplifier. So now we're just going to terminate that quickly. I already stripped the ends off. So yeah, I already stripped the ends off, and I'm just gonna put this right on there, slide it in, and as you can see it fits really nicely. I'm just going to use my crimpers, crimp them in place, and then I'm going to add the black wire loom. I'm going to tape that up, and then yeah, we're going to be done with the power, and then we're going to have to do the ground real quick. I have to see where I can do that, and then we're going to do the rest of the cables as well. Okay, so this is what the finished product looks like. Just these wire ferrules or bootlace ferrules at the end, crimped on. Then I got some tester tape to hold the tubing in place, the plastic wire loom tubing, and also to give the boot ferrule more support so it doesn't come off. It should not come off because it's like properly crimped on there, but just like as an extra measure, so that's how the whole wire looks. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the ground cable. I need to find a place to ground it. I already have a place in mind, but I'll see if it works. If not, we'll have to come up with something else. Okay, so it's like a very long while later, and this is where we at. I grounded the cable to the seat bolt over here. It was a struggle to like get all the paint scraped off, so I'm crossing fingers that it's like securely, okay, it's secure, but I hope it's like a proper ground, like it's making enough contact with the chassis. Then I pulled all the wires to here, so we have the remote turn on lead. So basically this is what it's looking like here. I do thing for you guys. Speed needs to go down. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this is where all the wires are. Speakers, oh, it doesn't want to stay. Speakers, 2 speakers, the remote turn on lead. Over there is the power in the ground. RCAs for the front left and well, for the front and the rear, including the sub. Now I just basically have to connect everything up, and then I can start with the tuning. I can start seeing if the thing is even turning on. So that means I'm gonna connect the battery. Yeah, touch wood, everything works out. Okay guys, so yeah, I have all my connections nicely crimped, securely crimped, and now we are going to connect it up to the amp. Okay, so it's going to be pretty straightforward. We have our ground on the left, we have remote in the middle, and we have the 12 volt, which is the power, on the right side close to the fuse. And then by the speaker side, we are going to bridge the rear for the subwoofer, but not right now. And then at the bottom we get the front left on the left side, positive and negative, and then the front right on the right side, positive and negative. I'm going to hook that up quickly. You're just going to need 2 different size Allen keys, so one like this for the power and the ground, and then a smaller one for the remote and the speakers. So let me quickly connect that up and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I have everything connected up, and now for the moment of truth, I am going to be connecting the battery in the car. I'll connect the RCAs, and then I'm gonna hope for the best. If it is not properly grounded, it's not gonna come on, and if it does come on and it sounds horrible, then again it's the ground, in which case, Houston, we have a problem. We're inside the car now, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Murphy's Law, but there's a law, or one of his laws, that go anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and another one, if you plan for everything to go right, something will go wrong. And that's exactly like what happened. Let me just get in here, the wind is coming in here. So that's exactly what went wrong just now. Had everything connected the RCAs to the back of the radio. Was now ready to test everything. Now just as I'm about to start recording, in the corner of my eye I notice the blue remote turn on wire has depinned itself from the harness that goes into the radio. So I had to struggle with that for like 30 minutes while I figured it out. But here we are. I'm gonna put the face on the radio, and then hopefully we get sound. I'm not even gonna switch to like pro mode. I'm just going to switch around cameras or turn around cameras. Okay, radio face, it's in. Okay, I'm gonna turn the key quickly. On position. Okay, what are we doing? Oh yes, oh yes, there we go. The radio has never sounded so good. Okay, I'm gonna turn this down like a lot. I need to put in the Bluetooth, the USB. Okay, USB is in. Was track 4 last time. There we go. 5. That's track 5. And it's, I don't know if you guys can hear it. Okay, success. Now we just have to go fiddle with the tuning. Yeah, with the tuning we have to go and tune it, but first I need to connect the subwoofer. Okay, so we're at the back again, and these are the tools you're going to need to do your settings, or to set your gain. Mostly your gain. Set your gain using a multimeter, and or the alternative version, if you don't have the fancy tools, would be setting your gains audibly, so by listening to it. And I'll explain that method as well. Okay, so you're gonna need, for testing it now with the multimeter, obviously, you're going to need a flat just to like turn the bass up and down, not the bass, the gain up and down, and then the Allen key, because we actually have to secure the leads of the multimeter to where the speakers are going to be, and this is done per channel. So when you're doing the math, because there's maths involved, you should know that it's per channel. So you just want to double check when you're doing this, or doing it in this fashion. But you can't do this using normal music, like the music I was just playing for you guys earlier. You have to actually use what's called a sine wave, or a test tone. This is more commonly known, because that's going to give you maximum power from your source unit, so maximum voltage from your source unit into your amplifier, and it's gonna pick up much better on your multimeter. You also use a sine wave or a test tone when you're testing using the other method, like listening for distortion. You can do it with normal music, but that's only if you know the song like really well and you know exactly how it's supposed to sound. But it's easier with test tones. So we're gonna start now with this method, and the first thing we have to do is remove the RCA cable for the rear because we're going to start with the front speakers, and we are going to remove all the front speakers, so both left and right front speakers, and we're going to hook up the plug lead, or the plug lead, we're going to hook up the leads of the multimeter to where the speakers sit per channel now. So left, right, like that. That's how we're going to do it, and then we're going to bridge it as well for the subwoofer. But before that, there's a couple of things you need to know. Number one being the RMS output of your amplifier and at what ohm, and that is right here. So you can see 100 watts RMS at 4 ohms per channel for this amplifier. And we know the RMS of our speakers from the review that I did, or the overview that I did, and they rated at 80 watts RMS. So it's not a perfect match, but it's also not a problem. It's always better to have a bit more power than a bit less power for your speakers, to make them play to their full potential, basically. So we know already that, okay, I'm going to explain the math to you now, so listen closely. We know already that the speakers, our speakers, can handle 80 watts RMS at 4 ohms. That's what they're rated at, right? But now we're looking for a voltage that we're going to use when we set the gains using our multimeter, right? It can't read RMS. It can read voltage, AC voltage to be specific. So there is a formula for that, and the formula is as follows. Your voltage is equal to the square root, the square root of your RMS, your maximum RMS, not maximum RMS, your RMS, which is the 80 watts, times the ohms. So in our case, with our Vibe Pulse 6C speakers, it's 80 watts times 4 for 4 ohms, right? That gives us 320. The square root of 320 is more or less 17.8. I've done the math beforehand, so I know it's like 17.88. That 17.88 is the target voltage that we will be trying to achieve using our multimeter. Now, it's not an exact science. There's a lot of factors that come into play, but it can get you there almost. So we're going to be doing the same formula for left and right, the front speakers. So both is going to be 17.88. And then with the subwoofer, since it's rated at 300 watts, an amplifier can push 300 watts. We could do it like that, but in this case, I don't want to push the envelope too much. So I'm actually going to be starving the subwoofer a bit of power. I know I just said it's better to have a bit more power than less, but I'm going to be starving the sub a bit of power. I'm going to be doing my whole calculation or my whole formula using 250 watts at 4 ohms. That is in an attempt just to protect the amplifier for longevity purposes. I am going to upgrade the system in future and run a dedicated mono, but for the time being, it's a 3-channel system, so I don't want to push the amplifier too hard. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I think with the subwoofer at 250 watts RMS, 250 watts RMS times 4 for 4 ohms is 1000 watts. Square root of 1000 gives you 31.64, I think. I'm not sure, but I know it's 31. And I'll be aiming for that 31 only. So yeah, let's start with the settings. Oh yeah, and then we also have to do the high pass and the low pass. I'll explain that to you as well. But let me connect the stuff so long first. And then for the front speakers, we're going to be using 1000 hertz test tone at 0 decibels. And then for the subwoofer, we are going to be using 60 hertz, I guess, 60 or 80 hertz. 80 hertz preferably, because that's the easiest way to do your high pass and low pass settings. You set them both to 80. Then you know your speakers are playing from 80 up. Your front speakers, your full range speakers, are going to be playing from 80 hertz and up, and then you know your sub's going to be playing from 80 hertz down. But okay, let me quickly connect everything and then we'll start with setting. In front again, car's on, radio's on, and the amplifier's on. We're just going to put this on Bluetooth mode. That's aux, that's Bluetooth. We are going to connect our phone, or the source unit in this case. Phone is a source unit. Coolant. Bluetooth. Should immediately pick up car kit, but I'll just select it. Oh, there we go. Calls and audio. Okay, now we're quickly just gonna go to music, and we know what we're looking for. So I think it's test. Okay, that's the 80 hertz. I want the 1000 hertz. There we go. 60-second sine wave, 1000 hertz, 0 dB, and we are going to be playing that. Okay, so that's playing. You can't hear anything because those speakers are connected, and we're going to turn up the radio, like I said, to the max amount, which is 45. Can go to 48, but I'm setting it at 45. Just for this video, basically. The higher you set your radio, the more it messes with the, well, not the more it messes with, but it will mess with the voltage at the back. That's why you want your highest possible voltage or your highest possible volume without distortion. Okay, so we're setting it at 45 for purposes of this video. Okay, we're going to go to the back now. That sine wave is going to be playing. I am putting it on repeat. There we go. So it's going to repeat the same song over and over and over. Okay, let's go to the back. Oh, another thing, just make sure that if you're using Bluetooth, it's like on max volume. Anyways, now, just to confirm, the amplifier is on. We are going to turn on our multimeter. So and we are getting a reading right now of 2.6 volts. So we're going to use our flathead screwdriver. We're going to go to the front and we're going to start upping the gain. Okay, just put this on the rear seat here so it's easier to look at. It stays at 2.6, so there's no interference. I'm going to go around the front. Wait, go on. Okay. You guys just see this. There we go. Okay. So 2.6 there. Front channel. Where's your gain? There's your gain. Okay. Okay, so as I turn the gain up, that number is gonna go up. We're looking for 17. There we go. 3, 4. $13. $17. Oh, what's that? 16.5. I want to get it to exactly 17. Oh, that's a bit over. Okay, 17.2. That should do the trick. Okay. Gonna stop that for now. Turn off the car. I'm gonna put the plug leads on the other side or the other speaker side, see if they get a similar reading, and then we're gonna go to the subwoofer. Okay, so here you can see the front RCAs are disconnected, the rear RCAs are connected. We have the test leads in, bridged, So left positive, the left channel of the left side of the rear channel, the left channel of the rear channel, I don't know how to say it. But anyways, positive of the left side of the rear channel and the negative of the right side of the rear channel is how we bridge the leads. We have the 80 hertz test tone going. So there you can see 80 hertz test tone, 5-minute test tone, so only 5 minutes. And we are going to turn on the multimeter, and with the gain all the way down, we're only getting 1.5 volts. So we're going to go around to the front again, and we're going to do the settings. We are aiming for 31 if possible. Wait. Okay, and there's the gain, and there's the thing. So okay, turn up to 31. Whoa, a bit over. Okay. $30.8. I'm happy with that. 7.8, 30.7. Just one more time. Oh, that's a bit too much. That's a bit too much. Just like ever so slight movements. Okay. 31.2, 31.3. Happy with that. Okay. Now we're gonna start fiddling with the high pass and the low pass. So we have our rear channel set to low pass filter. Right now it's playing everything 50 and below. Just gonna turn that up a bit. And as you see there, it's actually starting to up the voltage ever so slightly. So we have to turn the gain down again. Hey, hey, hey. Down, down. 31.5 is a bit high. There we go. 31. Okay. Low pass has been set. Now we're going to do a high pass as well. And I'll get back to you guys. Oh, I'll share the number there. 31. Okay, we are back. We've done the settings now using the multimeter. So I am going to turn this up. Just have to skip the song quickly, but I'm going to turn it up and we're going to hear what it sounds like. Okay. Immediately louder. Okay, so that is like immediately much better. Like when I say much better, I mean I can hear all the highs and I can feel the bass reverberate through my body. Like I can feel it, like I feel the bass hitting my chest, and I'm sitting in the driver's seat, so whoever's gonna be sitting in the rear passenger seats, they're gonna be having the time of their lives. But real quick, I just need to idle the car before I got a flat battery. So let's just start. Ooh, it almost didn't want to start. Okay guys, I'm going to give you guys a rundown of the sound system one last time, just so that I can get to my conclusion. So 4 gauge power wire from the positive terminal of the battery going into a fuse rated at 100 amperes. We put a fuse as close as possible to the battery. One, if this section of the power wire should come loose, it should not be able to come into contact with any metal surfaces that will make it ground. And the reason for the fuse is that if any run of this wire going into the car itself, going into the cabin, does make contact, or it does short, it does ground itself out, the fuse will pop. Therefore, yeah, so the fuse is going to pop, and that's going to make sure that the current gets cut off, and then you don't burn your car down. Now, the reason I went with a 100 ampere fuse at the battery and a different size fuse at the back is because I'm planning on putting a proper distribution block in the back, because I'll be running 2 amps. So this install was in preparation of my eventual upgrade. So anyways, got the fuse in front. The fuse does not protect the amplifier. The fuse protects your wiring. Please understand that. Then I have all these doohickeys on the power wire itself. It's to help try minimize the amount of heat, one, that gets to the power wire itself, because the engine bay gets really hot, and heat with your power wires especially increases resistance, which results in a voltage drop, which means that your equipment can run a bit hotter to play at the same volume, and that introduces distortion again, all of that, and it just messes with your components basically. I know there's a proper way to explain this. I'm just giving you what I know. Remember, this is basic customs. I'm also learning as I go. Please bear with me. So anyways, we've spoken about the power cable. So I've only done this inside of the engine compartment. So I've only put this protection on the inside of the engine compartment for the reason I just told you. It's also just an extra layer of protection should something happen. Another reason, another thing you want to look out for, another thing you want to look out for when you do install your power cable, especially in the engine bay, is that you make sure that it's away from any moving parts, and any parts that get super hot. So you'd obviously want to keep it away from your manifold. You want to keep it away from belts that turn, keep it away from your alternator, things like that. So if you did have to run it through to your driver's side, you would keep all that in mind. Okay, so it's enough about the engine bay and the wiring in the engine bay. Gonna go around here. Now the power cable runs all the way through, I've said this 100 times already, behind the glove box, into the kick panel, through the side sills here, all the way to the back. You can actually see the power wire there. Again, some more trunking, can't see that clearly, but yeah. And that goes into the back, into the boot, where the subwoofer is. So just behind, if I can move the subwoofer, just behind, just behind there. Not sure you can see it from here. Okay, you can't see it, which is a good thing, but basically in the corner there's another fuse, another fuse holder, and that fuse holder has 80 amps fuse installed. The reason it has an 80 amp fuse installed is that if the short should come from the amplifier itself, the amplifier is already rated at 80 amps for 240 amp fuses. Already has 240 amp fuses to protect itself, but should any type of short or something come from the amplifier side of things, that fuse is gonna pop, and it's going to protect the whole run of wire from that fuse all the way to the battery. which means I just have to either replace the wire up until the fuse here, or I would just replace the fuse itself, sort out the issue with the amplifier, if there was any issue with the amplifier. Now, the RCA cables are running down the driver side with one of the speaker wires. And the reason why we want to run our RCAs and our power cables separately is because if we ran them together, like parallel, or together like they tape together, it would introduce interference, something akin to coil whine, which is not nice. You don't want to go through all the effort of running all the cables, you know, tying everything down, putting everything back together again, and then you got this annoying interference just because you ran two wires next to each other. So best practice here is always run your power cable and your RCAs on opposite sides of the vehicle. If not, then you'd want to run it, I think, 6 inches away from each other. 6 inches being 17 centimeters, not sure, but yeah, just want like a nice gap between the two, the power and the RC. And if they should cross, you're gonna do so at like a right angle, so like in a cross form, to again try and minimize interference. So yeah, that's what we got in terms of the wiring, how I set everything up. Then again, your ground, my ground point, I was struggling with the ground point on this vehicle. I'm gonna try and just show you guys if I can. So move the seat forward. Oh, there's my ground cable with the yellow on, to identify it, and it is grounded. If I can, right there. There we go. It's grounded. Oh, come on, focus. It's grounded right there. This is the seat bolt itself, so not the seat belt bolt, because that was too thick and wouldn't fit. So I used this bolt, and I used a Dremel tool or a rotary tool to like take all the paint off. So it's like bare metal, and you want bare metal for your ground, because if your ground isn't proper, again, it introduces heat into the system, and it could introduce distortion as well. Also, an improper ground could result in your amplifier going into protect mode. So yeah, ground, an improper ground is a culprit for a lot of issues with a sound system, aftermarket sound system. So always make sure that your ground is proper. And then yeah, that's about it. That's what I got for you guys related to the sound install that I've done on my Corsa B. In future, we will be upgrading it. As you can see, my backboard already has cutouts for 6x9, so we'll be adding 6x9s instead of the speakers in these pillars, because it's like a pain to get through. So 6x9s, a separate monoblock for the subwoofer, and yeah, then we're gonna run the 6x9s and the front channel, or the front speakers, the components on the amplifier, and then the subwoofer on the monoblock. It's going to be so much better. Then I will be able to supply this sub with the 300 watts that it requires, without worrying about it. I'm going to say like that there. I'm also looking to maybe get a shallow sub, so I have more boot space, because I can basically like put like maybe one kit bag in here and another bag in here, and that's about it. So definitely looking for something slimline in future. If that's not possible, I'll go with another 12, but without a ported box. That should make it just a bit smaller. So yeah, that's it for the sound install. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a pain in the butt to install everything, but like the week I was driving around with it, with the little settings that I did, because again, I did it by ear as well, using music at the time, so I also didn't really have the speakers playing to their potential and the subwoofer playing to its potential, but I digress. But anyways, it was enjoyable. I liked having sound in my car. I just think it's one of the best upgrades you can make to any car, well, any daily driver basically, because I mean you spend 90, 99, 95, let's say 95% of your time in the car. So I would always start with installing sound, and then I would go with installing. Then I would only get mags and all of the other chairs, but sound first, always. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just putting everything back together again. Please do like, please do subscribe, please do comment below what you think of the install. I know some O's are gonna crucify me for the whole multimeter versus setting gain by ear thing. It's a massive fail, it's a massive L, but we live and we learn. We live and we learn. This is Basic Customs, like I said, or like I say in the description, in the about section of this channel. I am a car noob. I'm learning as I go, so with time I'll improve. But anyways, thank you very much guys for watching, and here's to the next one.